Hey everybody and welcome to another LEGO review on my channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the LEGO Marvel set called the Avengers Tower Battle. This is set number 76166 and it comes with 685 pieces and is recommended for ages 8 and up. And we're going to start by taking a look at the figures that come in this set, starting with Iron Man. And I do like the overall look and design for this version of Iron Man here. He does come with the older helmet design that is one piece, so the visor isn't able to be lifted up to reveal Tony Stark's face. There's also some really nice printed detail on the chest and legs of this figure, and you can even see that there's a little bit of toe printing as well. As we start to make our way around to the side of the character, you can see that the face of Iron Man has some really good printing as well, and that there is no printed detail on the arms or legs of this minifigure. The mold for the helmet design does have some ridges in it as well for that little bit of extra detail, and as we start to make our way around to the back of the figure, you can see that Iron Man does come with a pretty detailed looking back print as well. You'll have to let me know what you think of this figure down in the comments below. Removing the helmet will show off Tony Stark's face underneath, and this is the same face print we've been getting for years and there's nothing overly special about it. Tony does come with a second facial expression that has a screen overlay, and while this is a nice inclusion, I do find it to be a little lackluster without having the visor being able to lift up like on the newer version of the helmets. Iron Man does come with a couple of accessories. These include energy blasts that can be fired from his hands, as well as a couple transparent blue flames that come out of the feet of Iron Man. The next figure we're going to be taking a look at is Black Widow, and I love the printed detail that is found on the character's chest, legs, and arms. There's a lot of really tiny details to be seen there, and I think it looks great overall. And Black Widow does come with a rather plain looking face print, but she does come with a second facial expression that we'll be taking a look at in just a moment. Turning the figure around to the side, you can see more of that awesome printed detail on the character's arms, and I do like the inclusion of the gray minifigure hands as I feel like it complements the gray printing found all throughout the figure. And I do like the hairpiece they use for Black Widow, but keep in mind that it is going to limit the articulation in the minifigure's head. Here's a quick look at Black Widow's second facial expression, which depicts her being a little bit more angry, and she does come with two pistols as accessories. Next up, we're going to be taking a look at the Blazer suit, and I think that this is a really cool looking design for Iron Man's armor. My favorite part about this figure's design has to be the flame printing found on the legs, but this figure also comes with some toe printing and a really detailed chest print as well. As we start to make our way around to the side of the character, you can see that it uses the same helmet design as Iron Man's original armor. You can also see that the hands of the minifigure are in a little bit more of a lighter color, which I don't think necessarily looks bad, however I do wish the hands matched the rest of the armor. And as we start to make our way around to the back of the figure, you can see that it does come with a pretty detailed back print as well. I do think that the dark gray helmet and torso do a good job complementing the dark red design of the figure. Removing the helmet will reveal a clear minifigure head underneath. And the Blazer suit does come with a bunch of transparent orange pieces meant to represent fire and flames. The next minifigure we're going to be taking a look at is the Taser suit. And just like with the other two suits we've taken a look at so far, I do like the overall look and design of this one as well. The figure is mostly dark blue, but it is complemented very well by the silver printing found throughout the figure. I do like the look and design of the chest, leg, and toe printing on this one as well. And as we start to make our way around to the side of the suit here, you can see that it does come with a neck piece as well, which I think is a really cool detail. And as we make our way around to the side of the figure, you can see that there is no arm or leg side printing, which at this point I don't find to be too surprising. And as we make our way around to the back of the figure, you can see that Taser does come with a pretty detailed back print as well. And removing the helmet of the minifigure will reveal a transparent minifigure head underneath. The suit does come with a couple of accessories, the first of which are these transparent blue pieces meant to represent lightning, as well as some transparent orange pieces meant to represent flames coming out of the suit's thrusters. The next minifigure we're going to be taking a look at is Red Skull. And I think that this minifigure is okay. I do like the face print that is found on him, but my favorite part about this figure has to be the chest print. I find it to be incredibly well detailed. Unfortunately, this figure doesn't come with any leg or arm printing, which I do think hurts the overall design of it just a little bit. And as we start to make our way around to the back of Red Skull here, you can see that he doesn't come with a second facial expression, which I don't think is necessarily a big deal at all, as this character doesn't come with a hairpiece and it would be hard to explain why the character has a second face on the back of his head. But you can see that the figure does come with a pretty decently detailed back print too. The last figure that comes in this set is a AIM agent. And I think this is a decent looking minifigure that comes with a pretty detailed looking chest print. You can also see that there's some printing on the character's headpiece, but it is mostly covered up thanks to the helmet and neck piece that is found on this figure. Unfortunately, there is no leg or arm printing to be found on this figure, but I do like the inclusion of the yellow minifigure arms as I feel like it complements the overall design well. This character also comes with some black minifigure hands again that I think complements the overall design of him well. And here's a quick look at his back print. Removing the helmet of the figure will give us a good look at his face print, as well as a weapon as an accessory, and you get two AIM agents in this set. With all of the minifigures out of the way, we're ready to talk about the build for this set, which is the Avengers Tower. And this build has a lot of really cool features, so let's get right into it. On the tower, you're going to find a brick-built Avengers logo, which is made up of about 10 to 15 pieces, but I do think it looks pretty good and it gets the job done for what it's trying to accomplish. At the very top of the tower, there's not really a whole lot of detail, but there is a couple of pieces meant to represent antennas, which I think is a nice detail, I suppose. The very top floor of the tower is rather open and there's not really a whole lot of detail to be seen here, but there is enough room to place a couple minifigures. Making our way down the side of the tower here, you can see that the design is rather consistent. There are some transparent blue pieces meant to represent the windows, and you can see some detail found on the inside. I also like the inclusion of the transparent orange pieces on the side as well, meant to represent lighting. There is a small area on the tower that is meant to represent the helipad, and there's this really neat feature where if you take this piece on the side here and pull it out, it causes it to flap down. Here's another look at that play feature with some figures on the platform, and honestly it's kind of satisfying to pull it and watch them fall down. Right below that there is a small lever which if you pull it down it causes the windows to bust open. And finally on the very bottom floor you are able to open up the windows from the top and pull them down, and doing so will reveal a hover bike that Black Widow is able to ride. It is a rather simple build, but I think it's a great inclusion to this set and it has some sticker for detail. Here's a quick look at what Black Widow looks like when she's on the vehicle, and like I said, while it is a rather simple build I do appreciate its inclusion here. Now we're ready to take a look at the inside of the tower, which is really easy to open up. You grab each side of the tower and just crack it open. Here's a quick pan down on the inside of the tower, and while each room is relatively small, you can see that LEGO did try to cram in a bunch of really cool little details into the build. Taking a look at the left side on the first floor, there is a small area that you were able to store Black Widow's hover vehicle. And I think it fits nicely into this area and you can close the tower completely and it won't get in the way. On the other side of the first floor, we have a very simple lab build that has some stickers for detail, as well as the arc reactor, which is a really cool inclusion in my opinion. And while this is a rather small area, you are able to fit a minifigure inside. Above the lab, you're going to find a weapons rack, which is a pretty good variety of different weapons that the minifigures can wield to help them defend the tower. And if we remove the weapons rack, you can see that behind it is the Infinity Gauntlet, which I think is another really cool inclusion to this build, and it is able to rotate around on its stand. Moving to the other side of the second floor, there is a rather simple looking room, and its purpose is to store the taser and blazer suits that come in this set. Moving up to the third floor, you can see that there is a prison cell area, and you are able to lift up the cell and place a minifigure inside. I will say though, with how small of a room this is, it is rather difficult to get the minifigure to get in place, but if you're a child and your hands are a little bit smaller, you may have a little bit of an easier time getting the minifigure in place. But once you do have the minifigure in place and close down the jail cell, I think it looks pretty good. The jail cell is also on the same floor that has the feature where the windows can explode, so the idea with this play feature is whatever prisoner is inside the cell is trying to escape. The other room on the third floor is another small lab build that has some stickers for detail and one of the Infinity Stones. Moving up to the final floor of the tower, you are going to find kind of a lounge area that has a couple of chairs that you're able to put minifigures on, and there's also a gaming controller on this floor as well. And that's because on the other side of the room, there is a TV that has a sticker for detail that represents a video game. There is also an alternate sticker that represents the news, and you are able to open up the door here that leads out to the helipad. The last thing that I want to mention is one of the AIM agents does come with a hook that you are able to attach to the tower to have him swing around. The Avengers Tower battle was released in 2020 and has long been retired. But if you did want to buy this set online, it's going to cost you anywhere from $150 to $200. And I do find this to be a relatively fun and cool set, but it is ultimately up to you what price you would want to pay for it. I do think that it does make a good alternative if you don't have enough money to buy the $500 Avengers Tower that was released a couple years ago. But be sure to let me know what you think of this build in the comments below and like and subscribe to my channel for more LEGO reviews in the future.